Cubs lose for the third straight game, and it feels like this starting pitching is a little bit shaky, and they need to do something quick. I think it's going to happen, and I'm going to tell you why the chips are all in right now. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cardinals series, Pete Crow-Armstrong with some mental mistakes, and more right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. But don't panic. It's going to be all right. It's a long season. And, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And today, you got your best pitcher on the mound, so don't fret. Let's talk some Cubs baseball here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Great to see all of you guys that are hanging. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. And it is great to see you guys today at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. All right, listen. Nothing worse than losing to the Cardinals. Nothing worse. But when you look at the makeup of this Cubs team, you got to feel comfortable and confident that things are not going to last. And the thing that's the most concerning to me is an area where I think the Cubs are about to improve. And I feel like right now, and it's a combination of what some of the beat writers have said. It's a combination of some of the things that you hear from scouts behind the scene and being in this business for a long time, and also knowing that this front office is not extended, that their careers are on the line right now, that this is a must-win, have-to-win-now season. The Cubs are going to make some moves. They're going to make some moves soon, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly what those moves are, and it is going to, in my opinion, include starting pitching. We've talked about this a lot on the show. It could be Merrill Kelly. It could be Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks. If the Cubs go there, these are two guys that at the end of the season are free agents, right? And you're going to have to give up a lot for a little in return unless those guys really show up and get the job done. Here's Sandy Alcantara, former Cy Young Award winner. He is coming off of Tommy John. He has not been good this year, but a lot of people feel like he's going to be okay. It's a flip of the coin. And there's some other guys as well. But with that said, the trades are coming. And when you look at the way that this starting pitching has performed here lately, you feel like, hey, we might need to make a move and make a move fast, right? The lead's 2.5 games now. The Cardinals are, have beaten the Cubs 2 in a row. Milwaukee's there. But I still feel like I'm really confident that the Cubs roster is better. They're going to score runs. They're going to do their thing. It's hard to win games when your starting pitching gives up 7 and 8 runs. Ben Brown was so bad that they optioned him to Iowa. Porter Hodge is back. It's not like Porter Hodge is coming in with a heater from his time down in Iowa. I'm curious to see what this looks like for Hodge, knowing that he did not pitch well down there, but now he's back on the roster in the 26-man roster, right? Ben Brown goes to Iowa. If I'm the Cubs, I'm really considering Brown as an option out of the bullpen. And I don't mean long relief. I mean high leverage, come in, get outs when you need outs, and in big spots, because I know he has the stuff to do that. And that may, for them, that may not be the plan. And the reason why is that you want to have him as depth. And you start to look at what this Cubs rotation is missing right now. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I just want to kind of illustrate how well they've done up until this point. And this has been, over the last few games, not just the Cardinals games, but even last series against the Mariners. It's been a tough stretch, right? Shota Imanaga is coming back Thursday. Could not be coming back at a better time. Ben Brown's been up and down and up and down and up and down. You got to be more consistent in the big leagues. But I'm going to be honest with you. This has been his entire career. I've seen it. He's never been a guy that's been consistent. So that's something that he's going to have to figure out to become the dominant pitcher that he has the ability to become. you don't just kind of come up through the minor leagues and have a certain look and then get to the big leagues and that just goes away. That's why I'm so confident that Cade Horton's going to be in the long run a dominant pitcher, because that's who he's been. And the Browns been up and down and up, and we're seeing it in the big leagues. Jamison Tyon's been so good, but not good yesterday. Not good yesterday. I'm not even close to good enough. And when you really need somebody to go out there and make big pitches and kind of be a stopper, he just wasn't that guy. And I'm concerned because he was pitching so well. And now it feels like, we're kind of looking the other way now, where he's kind of looking like that fourth or fifth option instead of a frontline guy. But you don't have Justin Steele. He's your best guy. You haven't had Shota Imanaga, but he's coming back. You haven't had Javier Assad. And remember, Javier Assad was kind of like, to me, a hero a few years ago for the Cubs. Do anything. Heck, can start, I can relieve. He was always solid. Sometimes he'd have guys on base, but he seemed to always get the big outs. He's not there. They've dealt with other injuries. And they've still figured out a way to put themselves in position to be in first place. But what you got to remember is, and I know some of you guys are waking up today and you're going, man, I'm so pissed at the way that this team's playing. I'm worried about things. This is baseball. You're not always going to go out there and score 10 runs and blow the other team away. What's a shame is that when you score 7 and you lose, that's what you got to worry about. And it feels like Cade Horton pitches and the Cubs defense is bad, which is kind of odd. He's had some bad luck and he's pitched through it. But one of the biggest issues that I'm looking at right now, it's not just that the starting pitching hasn't been good. It's that it hasn't gone very deep either. And then you start burning up your bullpen. When the Cubs were playing their best ball, they were giving the bullpen less outs to have to record, and they were doing a good job of winning games. I'm looking for a deal. I bet you that the last few days have been eye-opening, but I'm not in any way suggesting that the front office doesn't know that they've gotten some amazing performances from players that are probably not going to be able to hold that throughout the entire year. And that even includes Matthew Boyd, who's been the best pitcher the Cubs have pitching today. But I hope he gives it to them today, because they certainly could use it. And look, you get today's game, you get tomorrow's game, you split. That's what you came in to do. And all is not lost. But the thing that we've got to remember is that you can't win and can't get in the playoffs on June 25th. It's a long, long, long season. And this division is really good. It really is. Very talented. And I feel like of those teams, the Cubs are the best of the talented teams. So I'm not concerned, but I'm looking for the Cubs to try to pull something off sooner than later. I can't imagine them wanting to just continue to struggle like this. We'll see what happens with Porter Hodge. I'm also curious about Michael Fulmer. I was wondering what that move was going to be to add Shota to the roster for Thursday, and I'm curious to see what that looks like. And you guys will message me, when certain pitchers are designated for assignment. Is this guy going to help? Is that guy? I think that the Cubs are in a spot where they would really like to get guys that can come in and be impact pitchers. And I honestly feel like it's been, even over the last couple of years, some of the trades they have made, I don't feel like they've really added super impact guys. Now, they've gotten good impact from some of those pitchers, but there's a heavy price tag if you make trades before the deadline, just because of the fact that teams feel like, well, I'm going to wait until the end when the market kind of moves and maybe I can get more. You're going to have to compensate them for the early trade. And I think that's going to happen, because I can just feel this, hey, we got to do better with starting pitching. But Shota's coming back on Thursday. You got Boyd today, and you should be happy about that. We'll see what happens with the future of Ben Brown. And then, it looks like they're going to stick with Colin Ray for right now. Gives you a little bit more consistency. And I think they're like me. I mean, I have no there's no way I'm taking Cade Horton out of this rotation. No way. I see him being a guy that just keeps getting better and better and could be someone that's really tough by the end of the season. Now, we got to talk about this. Pete Crow-Armstrong with a couple of memorable mistakes, but one of them I don't think was a mistake. He had runners on first and third and bunted right back to the pitcher, and he got out. And, you're looking at it and you're going, wait a second, man, this guy's, one of the leading home run guys, one of the leading RBI guys. And people were really on him about that bunt. I'm not on him about the bunt. I'm on him about the execution of the bunt. And that's something that he worked on a little bit when I saw him in Double-A. Because he can hit home runs and he can hit extra base hits and he can do so many things. But the bunt is a weapon if you're good at it. And he's okay. If he pulls the bunt, if he, basically he was trying to drag it. If he drags the bunt, it's a RBI single against a tough lefty. They're not throwing him out. And it's a really tough play when you got runners on first and third just because of positioning. But you got to lay it down and you got to get it past the pitcher. You can't just bunt it right back to the mound. I read a lot of the comments. I heard a lot of the comments. People on him pretty bad for that. I'm not on him. It's execution. You do it the right way. And you know what? We're not talking about that. We might be talking about the biggest play of the game being that. Hey, they pick it up, they throw it away. Bunts are a pain in the butt for infielders if you're dealing with a guy that runs the first as fast as Pete Crow-Armstrong. But when you get in there and bunt, you got to lay the bunt down and you got to trust your speed. And if you're trying to bunt and get out of the box at the same time and you don't square up on it and you don't get it right, you hit it right back to the pitcher, you're an easy out. Now, the other one is one that's going to bother him more than it's going to bother us, and it cost the Cubs the game. And that was him forgetting how many outs there were and allowing a guy to tag up from second base and score. And give the Cardinals credit. They saw that opportunity. They realized that he didn't know. And it was just a not very Pete Crow-Armstrong mistake, not a Hollywood mistake. He doesn't do that stuff a lot. I mean, he's known for being a hustling, really, really good player. Gary Hughes, and you guys might know him, and some of you guys don't, but he's in the open. There's a picture in the open that I play every day of us in the booth, Len Casper and me, and Gary Hughes is in the middle. Gary's one of the greatest scouts of all time. He's one of the greatest people of all time. So, and it's hard for me even to this day to say the late Gary Hughes, the late great Gary Hughes, because I still can't believe that he's passed. But he was with the Cubs. He was Jim Hendry's special assistant, and Baseball America did a thing where they picked the top 10 scouts of the century. And he was one of them in there with guys like Branch Rickey. He was one of the smartest guys, one of the great guys ever. And anyway, he'd come and do color on my broadcast with me. And one of the things he would say is when you get a pitcher that's walking guys, you give up a lot of hits, you make these long innings that players lose track of what's going on sometimes. And I feel like, when some of these innings that the Cubs pitching has had, it's a part of this. When you're playing great baseball, even if you give up runs, right? It's like they're fast innings and we're throwing strikes, putting it in play. It just felt like these innings, it's like hit, ball one, ball two, bad counts, or you're ahead and you make bad pitches. A lot of long at bats. And not to say that it's anybody's fault but his for not paying attention, but it just feels like sometimes the flow of the game contributes to that. Now, what I will say is I saw him in the post game and he is wearing it and he looks terrible and he looks upset. And the best thing about the game of baseball, and most of you guys played, and if you haven't, you love the game, you've been around it, is that you got another game today and you got another game tomorrow. In other sports, you got to sit around and think about it. But baseball, you play it every single day. And I'm excited to see kind of how he bounces back. He got the base hit in the 9th inning, and got the second base and was stranded out there. Did anyone think Dansby Swanson was going to get a hit against that guy? I would have pinch hit for him and put a lefty at the plate just to give me a chance, because I mean, I know Dansby's had a better season than he did last year, but just I mean, hit a weak, rolled over a ground ball to third, and and you got to get better at it. But it's just what it is. What it is. They lost, and guess what? You got another game today. So Cubs will take on the Cardinals today. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Anytime there could be some sort of a splash trade made by the Cubs, and you just wonder who's willing to make a deal and how far the Cubs are going to go to make that deal happen. And some more roster moves coming. And now I'm going to be interested in seeing what that looks like. But I don't know that it's going to be anything blockbuster right now, because you get the feeling that you're going to put Shota back in there, and then we'll see what that looks like. Somebody with options probably gets sent to Iowa. But anyhow, thanks for being on here today. Get in there and argue with me. I know a lot of you guys are going to be pretty fired up at Pete Crow-Armstrong, but normally the guy runs through the wall to make plays for the team. Javi Baez used to forget how many outs there were. I mean, and he's one of my all-time favorite Cubs. It happens. You play 162 games, you're not going to be perfect. If this becomes like a Starlin Castro issue where it happens way too many times, that's different. But it happened. The guy still went out there and played it, and got a hit in the 9th. He's still going to make great catches. He's just got to be confident and forget about it. And remember that, today's another day. All right. Thanks for being on here. Again, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Please send to your Cubs friends. Be part of what we're doing. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I'm really proud of what we've done on this channel, talking Cubs every day. I've got bigger plans for things down the road as we continue to build this. But thank you for being here. And from the bottom of my heart, guys, go Cubs. I still hate the Cardinals.